some of you may have noticed, up there on the screen is my 13-year-old brother, Tom. Now, avid is not the word to describe the way Tom sees basketball. He plays on two teams, being a school team and a club team. He puts 5 weeks of every summer into basketball camp, and he runs 2-hour training sessions for himself. Now, it would make sense for Tom to be very good at basketball, and he is. What impresses me about Tom is how good he is at all of the other things he does. He's a great student, he's an excellent actor, he plays both the piano and the saxophone, he plays other sports, and, well, you get the picture. The list goes on. So today, I want to talk to you about people like Tom. Exactly how can somebody who puts so much time into one pursuit get so good at so many others? Talent definitely has something to do with it, but I believe that the true meaning of this comes from the Pareto Principle, as discovered by Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto in 1906. So his principle states that roughly 20% of a company's product will generate roughly 80% of that company's profit. So, for example, while Walmart is a gigantic supermarket that sells pretty much everything, most of the revenue actually comes from groceries. So, if we were thinking about optimizing the overall profitability of Walmart, and we were thinking about every one of Walmart's products as a separate entity, then it would seem to make sense for Walmart to distribute their funding evenly among all these products. However, by investing heavily in groceries, by making sure that the groceries have the best possible combination of price and quality, Walmart has been able to get many people to choose them as the place where they shop for groceries. And once people are already at Walmart, they're much more likely to buy all of the other things they have to offer. So in this way, by investing heavily into their strongest 20%, Walmart has been able to increase profitability across the board. So why am I talking about Fortune 500 companies like Walmart in the same speech in which I'm talking about people like Tom? Well, both are disciples of the Pareto Principle. If we were to look at a person as just a collection of separate skill sets being things such as playing basketball or doing math or playing a musical instrument, then it wouldn't make any sense to put all of your eggs in one basket. You wouldn't just end up being a one-trick pony. And at the end of the day, it's probably wiser, and it's definitely safer to distribute your efforts evenly among several different endeavors. However, we are not just collections of skills. Our skills are based upon our character consisting of virtues such as patience, or leadership, or resilience. And once we start seeing people in that light, it becomes a lot more clear why somebody who was already very good at one thing would also be very good at another. They've already gone through the process of acquiring an extensive skill set. They've already built up their character. All they really have to do is apply that character to the next things they are going to do. So, while a 5% increase in free throw percentage might not seem worth the months and months of effort that it would require Tom, the true rewards that he is reaping are the perseverance, the focus, the diligence, and all of the other traits that he is developing over that training. These are the universal rewards that he is then taking and applying across all of the other things he is doing in his life. So my question is, why don't more of us do this? Why don't more young people commit themselves fully to the thing they love to do most in life, to their favored 20%, if they clearly stand to gain so much? Everywhere, but especially at this school, I see motivated, talented, driven young students spread themselves thin over an honestly crazy number of things. Like, we really forget how much we do sometimes. And in doing so, we often become disenchanted and frustrated with the idea of institutionalized achievement in general. We stop caring about becoming moderately impressive at many different things. And that's a sad thing to see, because that's a lot of work wasted. So, why do we do this? Why do we spread ourselves so thin? There are several reasons, but the most important one is the competitive and selective application process we have for colleges and universities. Because at the end of the day, for a lot of us, a lot of high school ends up revolving around getting into our university program of choice. Now, for those of you who maybe haven't seen one in a while or at all, a university application reads a lot like a resume. The general principle is, please tell us everything you've done in the past 4 years in the format of award / category / competition pool size, so that we may judge your merit. Now, I put 20 hours a week into athletics pretty much every single week. And this kind of process made me feel like my work was cheapened. Because I didn't have that many separate entries on my applications, it looked like I just hadn't done much over my time in high school. Meanwhile, I had friends who were able to fill pages on pages on pages with accomplishments across a wide variety of faculties, showcasing their efforts beautifully. Because resumes and university applications do, by their very nature, reduce us to a collection of skills, it once again seems foolish to commit oneself fully to a singular pursuit. Because while that pursuit will build your character, it will also become exponentially harder to improve your skills and advance to the next level in whatever it is you're doing with every step you take in that direction. Every one of those steps is going to get harder and harder. It's going to take more and more effort. And this effort could instead be distributed among several endeavors to then bring in a boatload of certificates, distinctions, and awards that you can then slap on a resume to make it look a lot better. There is, however, another reason that I think is more personal and much more powerful to why we so fear specialization. This is the way we look up to people. Now, I'm a fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger as a person. And he also happens to be a perfect example of the Pareto Principle in action. To give you a brief recap of what Arnold has done with his life, Arnold is a 7-time winner of the Mr. Olympia. He is a multimillionaire businessman. He is one of the highest grossing actors Hollywood has ever seen. And to top it all off, he is a 2-term governor of California. This was accomplished chronologically in that order. So now, while Arnold is clearly a very talented person, if he had set out at the age of 15 to become a bodybuilder, businessman, actor, politician, which, as funny as that sounds, that's pretty similar to what a lot of us are trying to do these days, we would not know his name. His name would not be in the Microsoft Word dictionary, which was an excellent surprise. Now, yet, when I look at Arnold, much as when I look at Tom, I see a complete package, and I am driven to imitate that package by doing everything they do at once, instead of emulating them and doing what they did, building my character up through specialization. Now, this difference between imitation and emulation contributes hugely to this crippling idea that we have to sacrifice depth for breadth. And these are the chains that I'm asking you to cast off. We have to stop thinking of ourselves as just a collection of skills, even if our future employers and universities won't, because in doing so, we are mortgaging our character. Depth and breadth are not antonyms. They are synonyms. If we choose our 20% wisely, and we put our best work into that 20%, I believe that all of us can reap the rewards across the board. Thank you.